Next up we got blue, and we are starting with Daring Thunder Thief. For 3 and a blue, it's a 4/4 with flash, it's a rogue, and it enters the battlefield tapped. Okay, put this in a random set in vacuum, pretty shit. You don't want your 4 drops to go into battlefield tapped, especially when they're just stat line. This is, yeah, the white-blue card, I guess. And maybe you have a lot of instants, maybe counter spells, hopefully you got the card draw, make 2/2s and stuff like that. But then it is a pretty big problem that it enters the battlefield tapped. So, I don't like it at all. I think white-blue, it's fine there, but I don't think you're gonna have that many things that work with it, so it's kinda okay. Not a big fan, I'm just gonna give it a D. Pseudo Haste?
Kind of like it a little bit more than that, just on the fact that I think the stats are fine. Maybe not in 2024, so maybe I'm overestimating 4 mana 4/4. But not being able to block on the first turn is a big part of. To be honest, 4 mana 4/4 is like a big part of. Sorry, the fact that a 4/4 blocks well is a big part of why 4 mana 4/4 is good.
Yes.
The fact that you just cast it on turn 4 and you're like, hey, come at me, you know, like I have probably the biggest creature in the battlefield, and this completely misses that, which is rough. I do think it's playable, and I think D is apt. It's a card that if I put this in my deck, I'll be like, okay, I had to do this, and that's fine. Like I'll live another day. That's fine.
That's fine.
Djinn of Fool's Fall, 4 and a blue for 5 mana for a creature Djinn. It's a 4/3 with flying and plot, 3 and a blue. I don't think this card is particularly special. I don't think the stats are particularly special. I do, however, think that, as I've been saying, plotting as a 4-drop and a 5-drop, being able to actually spend your mana flexibly like that is an extremely powerful effect. I think everything else about this card is terrible. It's like really not interested in it at all. I really think it's bad. But the simple fact that you can spend your mana when you want to be spending mana is actually a really strong effect, and that already makes it a D+ for me.
What do you mean spend your mana when you want to spend your mana?
If you don't hit your 5-drop, if you don't hit your 5th land, you can still pay 4 to do something on the board, right?
To play something that you don't want to...
Like you spend mana to do something. You spend mana to do something. So this essentially can technically fill up your 4-drop and your 5-drop slot.
Do you need that in any deck, like filling up the 4-drop and 5-drop slot?
I think it's a big bonus.
But
you don't need it, so I'm not taking it highly.
Fill it up with something that's good for that mana? How's that a plus for this card? I can see this being a plus when we get to some other cards, like a green card or something. This thing is like a 4/3 flyer for 5 mana, which is nothing. And you plot it for 4, so it's gonna enter the battlefield next turn, which already messes it up, right? You're playing a little bit understated creature for 4, but next turn, so you cannot attack with it. Where is the upside on this? So I kind of understand what you meant, but I don't know why you used it on this card. You can do it for 4, you can do it for 5. You're not happy doing it for 4, you're not happy doing it for 5. That's not a flexibility I want. I want to be happy at least with one part, and then, I can also do the other part. Right? Do you want to be doing this for 4? Like, getting a 4/3 flyer next turn, that's it?
It's infinitely better than not spending your mana.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean not spending your mana? But you have other 4-drops and 5-drops that you can put in the deck.
I mean, if you have a 5-drop, you're not spending your mana on turn 4. If you don't have this. If you have a 5 mana 5/5, you're wasting your turn 4.
How about putting any 4-drop in that just enters the battlefield right then?
I mean, like, okay, like Daring Thunder, like let's literally just compare Daring Thunder Thief. So you're much happier with Daring Thunder Thief than Djinn of Fool's Fall.
I don't like this card.
I think this card is better.
No, I don't like the Daring Thunder Thief much.
Yeah, but like that one's a D. Do you think that this card is better than a D?
No. And I mean, in any other color, isn't like any other 4-drop basically better in other colors? Like, for example, we don't care that much about the 3/4 that settles for 2 and has vigilance and makes a 1/1, right? But isn't that way better to play on turn 4 because it actually enters on turn 4?
So you're saying just relative to what you can get in this set, this card is
Yeah.
you'll never put this in your deck. Is that what you're saying? Or
Not
almost
never, but you kind of don't. I don't see why you ever put it in the deck.
I think it's a fair argument.
And it's like when I'm plotting something, usually I kind of want to get the stat line at least, because this is a real thing. Playing something one turn later, that's a real thing. Yeah, I'm just on a. Let's give it a D, but probably a D minus, but D for now. I don't think I'm gonna be putting this in the deck. Failed Fording. For 1 and a blue, return target instant speed, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. If you control a desert, surveil 1. Why don't you just surveil 1? Isn't that not okay? What is this conditionality?
It's strictly worse than unauthorized exit.
Yeah, that we had in this set. In the
or is
game.
Does it? Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's like you just surveil 1 there. Yeah, whatever. I don't care about it. But blip, 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 blip. A D. No.
D for me as well.
Blue has not started that hot.
Yeah, we've had that's like 3 pretty mediocre cards here. Geyser Drake, 2 and a blue for 3 mana for a creature Drake. It's a 2/3 with flying. As long as it's not your turn, spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. I'm a lot more interested in this. I think this one is pretty reasonable as a 3-drop. Yeah. Is this like, do I see this card and I think, wow, I'm so lucky that I have this for my instant speed play on my opponent's deck? Actually, no, I'm not. I think it's very middle of the line for that archetype. But am I unhappy if I end up with multiple of these in that style of deck? No, I think that's okay. 2/3 flyer for 3 mana. Okay, that's okay. And the effect, I think, will get enough value, typically, where I'm sort of fine with this. Cost reduction reduces the cost of spree. You calculate the total cost of your spell before discounts happen. So this does discount spree cards that are instant speed on your opponent's turn. Rules thing. But this is like a C- for me.
Yeah, 3 mana 2/3 some time ago that was like, whoa, 3 mana 2/3 flyer, man. But it's also a flyer that can block some 2-drops, so that's kind of important. There are some good things to do on the opponent's turns. These look kind of okay in multiples for some cards. I think I think I started as a C-. Maybe it's a C. I'm gonna think about it later, but C- for now. Can you read the next one? I just want to check something.
Harrier Strix, blue for a creature bird is flying. When Harrier Strix enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. It's a 1/1. Wow, I don't know what this order is. I'm sorry about I'm like totally scatterbrained while reading this. It's a 1/1 flyer for 1 mana. When it ETBs, it taps target permanent, and you can pay 2 and a blue 3 mana total to draw a card, then discard a card. It's a lot of text for a 1-drop. It's a pretty reasonable amount of text for a 1-drop. The joke in this set is that activated abilities do help you for the archetype of not casting something on your turn, right? Commits a crime for 1 mana on the cheap. It does a lot for a 1 mana card. And I think for that, it'll be perfectly fine in multiple decks. And I don't think you'll be necessarily clamoring to pick these up super duper highly, but I think they're going to be fine every time. So I think it's going to be a C. I could see it going higher. I do like it.
I don't, but there is actually quite a lot of instance for the last card on common level. Like there's a black 6-drop. There's a flash. There's a lot of flash in a lot of in all colors, in most colors. There is like that stop cloud, that removal that in blue that we're gonna get soon. There is in black. There's like a 6/2 for 6 mana, so you can have multiple of those. That gives -2/-2 to something. No ward in this set, not much ward. There's a lot of removal that you can cast on their turn in different colors. So I don't know. Give the last card a C for me. I can see it being pretty important, and even wanting like a good amount of those. Harrier Strix, I think it's shit. Tapping the permanent, I don't like it at all. No flash. This 3 draw 2 discard 1 is fine. I mean that's the big deal, right? The tapping is garbage. That's the big deal, right? You get a 1/1 evasion that can loot for 3 mana. That is a lot to loot though. I think you just randomly get this. Tap is a crime, that's true. That is kind of true.
They've stitched together a lot of mediocre effects on this 1-drop, but it's a 1-drop. How good does your 1-drop need to be?
I think it's a D+ because I don't think you get multiples of this, basically, always. And I don't see... How much crime do you care about committing in blue?
A lot of crime benefits or wants you to have cheap enablers. A lot of crime. It helps double spelling. It helps double spelling, right?
There is like nothing in blue that cares about crime though.
Do you care about divination?
Yeah, I mean, what? You're gonna cast it for 1 less.
Wait, on turn 3, it allows you to cast your Seize the Secrets when you have 3 lands. Something that you may or may not have been able to do before.
Yeah. And people are talking for a couple of times already. There is a 3 mana 1/4 vigilance. That can be a 3/4. Like that's something to work for. It's like, I have a 3-drop that is a 3/4 now. How do you deal with this? It's only for 1 turn. It's a 3/4 now. It's not gonna be 3/4 for most turns. But this turn it's a 3/4. Take 3 damage, opponent. Or maybe don't because I can't attack. Anyways, so I don't see anything. I'm gonna be on a D+ here because it's kind of okay. But I don't think you care about multiples. Maybe I'm wrong. And I don't really see blue being that fast or anything. Next up, we got Jailbreak Scheme for a blue. It's a sorcery and it has +3 mana. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It cannot be blocked this turn. For +2, target artifact or creature's owner puts it on the bottom or top of their library. Okay, so what you're trying to do here, what is the main purpose of this? You pay 3 mana, sorcery speed. You get rid of something that opponent has. Just artifact or creature goes wherever they choose. Which is good for 3 mana, it's bad for sorcery speed. So that's a big deal. Bad as sorcery speed, pretty fine for 3 mana. It's nice that you can also pay 4 or 6. But 4 to get in for lethal. That's what you want to do most of the time. Kinda don't care about this. It's not horrible. I think it's a D+. Sorcery speed really killed it a bit. Cool modality.
I'm like slightly higher. I'm like slightly higher on the 3 mana mode. Just being like something you can do. Yeah, sorcery's not great. There's effects that we've seen before for 3 mana where you bounce something and draw a card. That effect is much stronger. Mostly for the fact that you can't actually just pop this off on an irrelevant creature late game. Because they could just put it on the bottom. It's not like you can force them to draw something bad. But it's okay. It's a C-. And yeah, the upside of having excess mana to dump into this to get a really good attack in, I like. And it's mostly going to be you have a larger creature and a smaller creature, and you push the smaller creature past like a mid-sized blocker, and your larger creature could just attack naturally anyway. It's nice.
Yeah, or lethal, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, winning sometimes is good.
Yeah, winning can be good.
It's probably just an A.
Go nice.
Lone Shark 3/0 blue for 4 mana total for its a creature Shark Rogue. It's a 3/4. When Lone Shark enters the battlefield, if you cast 2 or more spells this turn, draw a card, and it plots for 3 and a blue. This card has a lot of appealing text. Let's think about how it actually is going to play out. You have to plot something cheaper in order for you to actually get this effect on turn 4. If I'm plotting this and casting it later, I'm not particularly happy about that. If I'm plotting this on turn 4 and I'm double spelling on 5 and drawing a card, that's okay, I think. It's okay. I'm not like over the moon about it. I'm casting this on turn 4 and getting a card off of it on turn 4 is not easy. I don't think that's particularly easy. I think a lot of uncommons can help you do that, but at the common slot, I don't think many do. A lot of the commons, if I'm remembering correctly, here, let me look it up. A lot of the commons don't plot for that cheap. 4 plot 4, right? Yeah. There's some in like red, like the Wolverine in red plots for 3. But at the common level, most of the plots are more
but
expensive.
you don't want to... You said Wolverine. We're gonna get to that. You kind of don't.
Yeah.
You're probably not.
Oh, you kind of don't even want to use it, the Wolverine, do you?
And there's a black one that plots for 2, but you kind of don't want to do it here on this turn.
Yeah. So if we evaluate this more as something that's going to come down on turn 5, realistically, it looks a lot less. I think it's going to play out way worse than it looks.
Yeah,
because it looks really good. It has a lot of appealing text, but I think it's going to play out way worse than it looks. Yeah. But yikes. I think this is like a C.
I think it's worse. I'm not a big fan of this. It's like, man, the art is so good, and of course drawing cards is so good with your common 4-drop. But this needs some work. Gonna start as a C-, but I can see it going to like a D or to like a D+. But I guess C- as a start. Was excited when I saw this, but it's not that easy to do. I thought it was gonna be a lot more plot cards for less mana on common, but there is not much. Blue is not looking great. We got a Tierlist Rope Master 4 and a blue. It's a 4/4. When it enters the battlefield, it's a rogue. Return up to 1 target tapped creature to its owner's hand. Alright, not bad. That's not bad. Tapped creature is a big deal. Something needed to attack, or maybe your opponent's you kill the mercenary tokens, as we call them, after they've used their effect. 5 mana, 4/4. Okay, stat line for that. It's okay. It is a 5-drop though. So, I guess I'm gonna give it like a C-. No, I don't know. Tapped creature is such a big deal. Because sometimes you're just gonna be attacking. It can give you a good tempo. So I'm on a C-. Maybe it's gonna go higher than that. We're gonna see how the set plays out. Blue doesn't seem super aggressive, so yeah. Well, C- as a start.
I'm kind of fine with C-, mostly because the body's actually quite good. So if you cast this on turn 5 and bounce your opponent's large thing, it actually probably has pretty good... You can probably... I think it's more often than not going to have good blocks the turn afterwards, which can kind of buy you 2-ish turns of being kind of beaten down. So as a defensive curve topper, I think I'd give it a thumbs up. But even if you're in a more defensive deck, there's going to be certain scenarios where you just want to beat down. And I'm going to be casting Tierlist Roadmaster as a 5 mana 4/4 and feeling a little sheepish about it more often than I'd like, I think. That's a C-.
Yeah.
Phantom Interference. Blue for an instant with Spree. Plus 3 mana. Create a 2/2 white spirit creature token with flying. Plus 1 mana. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. At a baseline, we're looking at Quench. 2 mana, counter target spell unless its opponent pays 2, with kind of crazy upside here. You can also cast this with no spell on the stack for 4 mana to make a 2/2 flying flash, right? 2/2 flyer with flash for 4 mana, which is not good, but as a bailout for your counterspell, seems pretty powerful on its face. I'm actually not as nearly as high on Phantom Interference as I would be, I think, normally. I think in a normal set, this card is freaking best blue common. Actually, it might still be the best blue common, to be perfectly honest.
Pretty bad.
No, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. But this card has really strong texts, but it plays really poorly against plot, really badly. If your opponent plots when you're leaving up 2 mana, you can't counter that. And then when your opponent unplots, you're gonna have all their mana open, so you can't counter that either, and it's going to be kind of telegraphed at that point if you're playing against a savvy player, especially because I think this card is going to be one of the better blue cards, so all the blue players are going to have it. I still think it's solid. I still think overall it's solid, so I think this is like a C plus. But
It gets better with the wind
think
race, right?
Yeah, it's it would be nuts in another set, but I think it's a C plus here.
Yeah, it's the thing is like when you pay 5, there's gonna be a good amount of times where you don't have anything. And plot, like you said, it's kind of like morph, right? These counter spells that are not just incredible, like the mutation in MKM, is the problem is that when they do plot, it's so, oh my god. When they do play save instant speed, as always, it's oh my god. So same like morph, when they decide to flip the morph, oh damn, I kept the counter spell up. Gets much better when you're reducing the cost on their turn, I guess. I'm gonna see. It's okay. It's it's a little bit hard to get the value for 5. Actually countering something. No, just to see. Next up, Razzle Dazzler. For 1 and a blue, it's a 1/2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, put a +1/+1 counter on this guy. It cannot be blocked this turn. Really bad on turn 2. Gets better with plot. Blue doesn't have best plot. Doesn't really have cantrips. This really needs work. And what you get first, like this, and not able to be blocked, is nothing special. Because you have your blue. I don't think blue is very good at aggression. I don't like this one. I'm gonna give it a D+ as a start. Man, blue is looking so bad. D+, man, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna want to be blue much. I hope they're wrong about some of these cards.
I'm in agreement with you, but I gotta feel like we're wrong, right? Like it all looks terrible. But it looks so bad that it's like it feels comical to the point where I'm like, we gotta have made a mistake. We gotta have taken the wrong turn somewhere.
Yeah,
or like we must be missing like what the entire archetype is about. But
I don't see what we are missing, but I really hope we are missing something.
I mean, maybe blue is just like hyper beatdown. You're supposed to have like 3 Harrier Strix and curving out with your Razzle Dazzlers and your Slick Shot Vault Busters or whatever. And
this doesn't
die somehow.
Scream aggressive to me. This Razzle Dazzler.
It can't be blocked. It's not defensive.
Doesn't feel aggressive. Doesn't feel defensive. That's a problem.
Yeah, it's rough. And then when I was saying about the gold cards, about the blue-red gold cards, these double spell cards, you need more gas in your hand, right? But if you're trying to beat down, I don't want to be just spending mana to draw cards, right? Yeah. Like to get additional gas. So I'm gonna have to take some time off to trade my mana resources for card resources. And if I'm doing that, I'm not beating down and not developing my board. You know, so for example, the next card that we're going to talk about, Seize the Secrets, which is 2 and a blue for a sorcery. Draw 2 cards, but it costs 1 less if you've committed a crime. Like, I don't really want to be paying this to enable my aggressive deck, right? I don't think so.
No.
I don't really care about this either. I think the age of divination has passed. I mean, it's possible that a set comes up where divination is good again, but I'm not particularly into this. 2 mana draw 2 is strong, sure, but I think that there's I think in 2024 Magic, you want to be generating your card advantage not just by tapping your mana and casting a card. I would rather do it while developing the board with value-based creatures. Or just I'd rather generate virtual card advantage by just having high quality creatures, you know, stuff like that. So I'm not super high on Seize the Secrets. I think Seize the Secrets is also a D+.
Sure, D+ seems fine. I'd give the Razzle Dazzler D from me, man. That card just screams bad. The last card, this D+, I guess.
You're about to get Razzle Dazzled.
Yeah, and this is the one everybody's talking like.
Dazzler's about to.
It's been a lot of times where I said, "Oh, commit a crime." There is not much support in blue in a lot of colors. This is the one people have been talking about, the Slick Shot Vault Buster. 2 and a blue and it's a 1/4 vigilance, and when the crime gets committed, it gets +2/+0. And it's not when the crime gets committed. It's as long as you've committed a crime, so that triggers only once. It's if you commit the crime 2 times, it's still +2 +0. So I don't want to work for a 3-4 vigilance that is gonna stop being a 3-4 on the defense or on the offense. Not committing crimes billion times. Like 3 mana 1/4 is horrible. 3 mana 3/4 vigilance. Now that's something we can talk about, but that's not this. This is so bad, man. I'm on a D-.
Blue is aggressive. It just is, right?
Yeah,
like that's the only way to go with these cards.
But this doesn't look aggressive. It maybe wants to be aggressive, but you can want a lot of things. Doesn't mean that that's what you get. And
I mean, how easy is it to commit a crime at instant speed? Like, is this a good blocker?
I mean, this wouldn't be broken as a 3/4 for 3 that has vigilance. It would be good, would be pretty good, would not be broken, right? And it's so much better, so much worse like this, like, being a 1/4 that can be bigger. I don't even care if you can commit crimes easily on their turn. Like, I don't care about it. What does easily mean? Every single turn? It better be every single turn that easy. That's not gonna happen.
What grade you give it?
I'm on a D- for this one. I think I'm going, oh, man, blue.
Okay, I'm on a D.
Oh, shit.
It looks pretty bad.
Very, very
Hey, but the next card will save us.
Yeah, saving.
The next card is a good one. Spring Splasher, 1 and a blue for a creature frog beast. It's a 2/1. Whenever Spring Splasher attacks, target creature defending player controls gets -3/-0 until end of turn. I'm only like half facetious about this because I actually think that this can reasonably attack in the early game and enable crimes for free, which I think is a pretty big deal for the first couple turns.
Why?
Card's not particularly good. It's not particularly strong. Hey, look, it enables your Slick Shot Vault Bruiser, right? But I don't really care. This is D+ for me. I just think that's
D+?
It's
That's so
whatever.
high.
Yeah, D+. It is, yeah. Free crimes.
For what?
Free crimes.
For what?
For your crime stuff. For your Lazar.
Well, tell me a card.
Yeah. I just told you a card.
The Lazar, the Dimir multicolored, 1 card.
Yeah, for your disinformation campaign, like, or your whatever campaign.
This is gonna be
free crimes.
This is gonna enable your crimes on like turn 10 for the campaign.
No, on turn 3. Turn 3. Let's go. I'll spend my turn 3 doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
and bringing my opponent down to 17.
That seems great. The problem with this is people are like, "Oh, we can attack now." But no, you cannot. Like, the opponent is not going to have 1 creature, and -3/-0 means that anything that has toughness bigger than 2 still blocks it, and they're going to have like a random 1/1 lying around in a lot of decks, and that just blocks this thing and kills it, and then this has never been good. We have had this card a lot of times, not recently, because it's always bad. We've had it a couple of times in limited, in different sets, and it's always bad. It's always really bad.
We've never had this card.
It's like -2, -0, and we had it a couple of times. This attack and give some. It's a 2/1 attack and give something less power.
So Vodalkin Mesmerist, right?
It was in Guilds of Ravnica, and I know we had it more than that. And it's just
but I think this effect is worlds better than that. I think -3 is much, much, much better than -2.
Yeah, I think it's really, really bad. It's like making something a wall, it still blocks it. They have 2 creatures, and it's so easy to just block or kill the 2/1. It's bad on the defense, and it's kind of bad on the offense. I'm on a D- for this one. I don't think this is nothing for attacks. Blue doesn't even care about attacking that much, and this does nothing.
I'm a frog truther. All right, here I'm planting my flag. We got to plant our flags sometime in the set review.
Oh, flag, okay.
All right, I'm defending blue's integrity as a color by saying Spring Splasher will defy odds and be a D+ card.
Defy all odds. Like, where do you get things? Like, it's...
Look at our grades. I'm just going to read off your column. D, 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 C, D plus, D plus, C minus, C minus, C, D, D plus, D minus, D minus.
I think those are the blue grades?
Those are the blue commons, yeah.
And I think I gave some grade. I was thinking to myself, I gave too many C's, the blue cards. I'm not even joking. Before you said that, yeah. What? No, you don't care about committing crimes in blue. And my God, this is a bad way to do it. Okay, no, what? Stop cold. 3 and a blue. Flash, aura, enchant artifact or creature. When it enters the battlefield, you tap the enchanted permanent, and the enchanted permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Okay, reasonable removal. Yeah, that is a reasonable removal spell. Very reasonable. I'm okay with it. It's nice. It's flash. I'm okay with this one. Yeah, it's cool. I'm on a C for this one.
I'm also on a C.
Alright, this is the best blue common. That is a problem. That is a problem. A fine.
I think the last card is the best blue common, but yeah.
For now, this is the best blue common. Okay.
It's hilarious. Take of the Fall. Blue for an instant. Target creature gets -1/-0 until end of turn. It gets -4/-0 until end of turn. Instead, if you control an outlaw and you draw a card. I will try, and I don't know if this is the right move, but I'm going to do it for the set review. I'm going to take this out of context and assume that blue is a playable color. It is possible that blue is so unplayable that I don't want to take these cards highly because I don't want to be in blue, and that will actually lower the grade of a good card. If I know that I don't want to end up in blue and I'll actively avoid blue, that literally hurts the good cards in blue, especially archetypal specific ones, which this one is, right? This card does a lot, right? It looks like not a huge effect, but it's very annoying to play around. It helps you double spell. It's very cheap for double spelling. It helps you enable crimes, right? And it overall makes combat pretty difficult. And I do think that outlaws are fairly easy to come by in most colors. I think this card is an actual B-.
I've been checking like the Ham's decks. He played a good amount of blue. And he's not really playing blue commons much. It's like uncommons or the other color. Or there has been a 0/3 deck as well. Yeah. What do you give this?
I think it's an actual B-. I think this card is extremely strong.
Yeah, this one is really good. So I'm gonna give it a B- as well. Good with 2 spells, just good trick. But if blue is worth it, if blue is even worth it to be in. We're done with the commons on blue, oh my god. Okay, I really hope there is a possibility. Nobody can know exactly how the set is gonna play out. I really hope that we are wrong about blue. This card, the last card kind of saves it, so... And I think the 2/3 flyer that makes things cost less on the opponent's turn can be a real dude. Okay. We are onto the uncommons in blue. Canyon Crab. Maybe there's like white. It has so many good uncommons that makes the color better. If there's just a couple of good uncommons, that doesn't really make the color better. But there is a large amount, you can expect to have a couple. Canyon Crab for 1 and a blue, it's a 0/5. It's a crab. And for 1 and a blue, it gets -2 until end of turn. At the beginning of your end step, if you haven't cast a spell from your hand this turn, draw a card and discard a card, which is a pretty cool effect. That's a really nice effect. If you're into that type of deck. Probably blue-white. I'm okay with this one. I like this one. I'm on a C. Because I don't like 0/5s that much. But this is a good effect. C.
Yeah, I'm pretty into Canyon Crab as a 2-drop. I don't expect that much. Like, 05 is a way better block than 04. You know, math is Scotty. But I'm on a C+.
I can see that being a C+. No cost for this. At least mana.
It's a pretty dang good effect. Like, this will loot you for what you're kind of naturally doing anyway. It's like a looter that's hard to kill too.
Mm-hmm.
I like it a lot. Deep Muck Desperado, 2 and a blue for 3 mana for a creature, Homerated Mercenary. It's a 2/4. Whenever you commit a crime, each opponent mills 3 cards. This ability triggers only once each turn. I think there is very much a dream of you trying to mill your opponent out. I think it's way more likely that this will never get there unless you actually have, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 of them. To the point, I'm not really into it. I understand committing crimes is fairly easy. Do I think you can consistently commit a crime from turns 4 on until your opponent dies? No, I'm not particularly optimistic about that. Can you get there? Yes. Do I think you're going to get there often enough to warrant taking this early? No. I think this is a D.
Yeah, I'm on a D plus maybe. I think you can get there sometimes. Not that easy. Somebody said that the Hem got there?
And
Really?
in sealed, I could see it. It is slower.
In sealed, yeah, in sealed I can see it as well.
I mean, what else mills in this set?
Nothing.
Am I missing something?
No, that's it.
That's it. I mean, if I have, they do get much better in multiples. Much
They
better.
Do. But that's kind of it. Heard you've been horning in on my turf. How about I introduce you to some surf? That is the mildest threat ever. that is the weakest threat I have ever heard.
If you're in a 70s Western, you know that they mean business, though.
Okay. D plus. You get multiples, it's nice. Emergent Haunting. For 1 and a blue, it's an enchantment. But if you don't cast a spell at the beginning of your end step, this becomes a 3/3 flyer forever. And for 2 and a blue, it's a rails for 1. That's kind of good, right? You play this, you plot next turn or something. 3/3 flyer is really powerful 2-drop that can also surveil. I'm into this one. I can see it as being like a B minus. But blue seems so bad that it's probably not gonna be a B minus. Still requires you to wait for a turn then. Not play anything, it's not that easy. C plus, B minus? I think C plus.
I'm into this one at B minus. I think the initial investment of putting this on the battlefield, not so bad. And I honestly think that affording 1 turn off, like where you plot or play something instant speed, not going to be that difficult either. And to the point, this is a pretty big threat. Once you hit 6 mana, and you just like surveil once, twice. It's a pretty real and pretty threatening late game effect as well. I like it. B minus.
Yeah, B minus from me as well. Yeah, I'm just so worried about blue not being good that all the B minuses you're not going to be taking as B minuses.
Yeah, I'm trying to push those negative thoughts down.
Okay, hope.
Fleeting Reflection, 1 and a blue for an instant. Target creature you control gains hexproof until end of turn. Untap that creature. Until end of turn, it becomes a copy of up to 1 other target creature. This is conditional. How much do I like? Untap a creature, give it hexproof for no additional stats. I hate it. I think that's unplayable. How much do I like the fact that it can copy something? That's all. That's a pretty big condition. I think you can dream big with this and generally not get there. I think this is a D minus.
D minus?
D minus.
I'm okay with a D. It's card, whatever. I don't even want to talk about it. Marauding Sphinx. For 3 and double blue, it's a 3/5 with Flying, Vigilance, Ward 2. And when you commit a crime, surveil 2. Only once a turn. Okay. That's good. That is really good. It's still a 5-drop, but I mean, that's pretty good. Flying, Vigilance, pretty good body. Surveilling for 2 after 5, it's very powerful. I really like this card. The thing is, man, after the white uncommons and the multicolored uncommons, it's like we've been excited about almost every card like this one. And it's probably the first blue card that we're like, hell yeah. But... okay, it's good. It's pretty damn good. It is a 5-drop. I'm definitely on a B minus. Like Flying Vigilance War 2 is huge. And surveilling for 2 is amazing at this point of the game. So at least a B minus, at least.
Yeah, I love it. I can even see it going up. B minus for me, but it's I do think this is the best blue card we've seen.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Metamorphic Blast. It's blue for an instant with Spree, +1 mana. Until end of turn, target creature becomes a white rabbit with base power and toughness 0/1, and +3 mana. Target player draws 2 cards. For 2 mana, you can have an extremely bad combat trick. It doesn't lose abilities, right? So it still retains, like, I guess it does negate Death Touch and First Strike for the most part. It keeps its counters, right? It keeps its +1/+1 counters. And for 4 mana, you can draw 2 cards at instant speed. And for 5 mana, you can do both. And that's a needle that I think will almost never be thread.
Why?
So 5 mana, you attack with something, and they have to get into combat, and you just win a combat, and you draw 2 cards. That is a pretty high upside for 5 mana.
But that's
5
mana. 5 mana, yeah.
And so it's a. I actually don't like it that much. I think overall this is a D+. I think this is a lot of, well, okay, maybe I'm underestimating the fact that this is an okay, like all the modes are okay, and maybe I'm underestimating the flexibility of this. I'm going to give this a C-, and I feel like that's because I'm optimistic about the flexibility of it.
I'll give it a C+ or C+. C. Because 4 mana draw 2 cards at instant speed is kind of okay as well.
What? Like, what do you mean by kind of okay?
I mean, as a mode, right? As one mode.
Okay, sure.
It is okay. It's like you don't want to play a card that's exactly that, but if you have nowhere to use this 0/1, you pay 4 mana, draw 2 cards. It's same like a board wipe, the ill-timed explosion in EZ in the MKM. Like paying 4 to draw 2 cards, it's at sorcery speed even. It's a really nice thing to have if you're not gonna be activating other things. If you're not gonna be having use of other modes, that's like, okay, I can draw 2 cards. That's nice. And it's instant speed for this set, so that matters. I'm at least on a C. Gonna start it there. Nimble Brigand. For 2 and a blue, it's a 1/3. Rogue cannot be blocked if you have committed a crime this turn, and when it deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. I mean, that's kind of good, yeah. But the problem is that it's a 1/3, and that blue kind of sucks.
You had like a shatter pause, so I thought you disconnected.
No, it's like I don't know, man. Every blue card that I see now, I kind of hate. That's just blue and not splashable. I'm a fuck off. I'm just giving it C-.
Okay, we're gonna hold on to belief here. I'm gonna go for a C.
Blue is just gonna suck, man.
Combat is gonna be rough with it. Blocking and attacking, or sorry, blocking specifically, which is kind of a challenge. But I'm hoping, because drawing cards helps you enable more crime. It's you can attack on turn 4 with your frog, right?
Frog.
Oh
yeah, that's exactly how my mind is thinking about these cards. This can be good, but maybe
it's actually no. That's such a great description. Like, my brain is actually having its voice crack when I think about blue cards.
Yeah,
which is it's a very bizarre phenomenon. Yeah. I don't think I've ever had that happen. But my thoughts are cracking, even though they have no windpipes.
It's like, but then you gotta play blue cards. but then I gotta play blue commons in this deck. So no.
Is it me? Outlaw Stitcher, 3 and a blue for 4 mana for a creature human warlock. It's a 1/4. When Outlaw Stitcher enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 blue and black zombie rogue creature token, then put 2 +1/+1 counters on that token for each spell you've cast this turn other than the first. Plots for 4 and a blue. So the plot cost is more expensive than the actual base cost, right? So that's very expensive. Ideally, so as I said before about the Lone Shark, being able to make a 4/4 and a 1/4 on turn 4, Not going to happen that often. When it does, enabled mostly by uncommons, sure, that's great. You know, that's extremely powerful. That's a very high upside. I don't believe that you're going to live the dream of like making a 6/6 plus that often either. How good is a 4-mana 1/4 with a 2/2?
Pretty
fine.
Good.
That's fine, right?
Yeah.
How happy am I with plotting this on turn 5 and then the turn afterwards making a 4/4 and a 1/4?
No.
That's
questionable.
Fine. that's like okay.
But plotting something else and then playing this for 4 is kind of good.
Yeah, that's like on turn 5. Yeah, that's true, right? Like the amazing D plus Jin, right? Yep. This card is good. It's a good card. I think overall it's like a B minus.
It is a good card.
But yeah, it is a good card.
I'm on a B minus because it's blue. Playing the heist.
B minus for blue.
That's maybe it is really good card. Playing the heist for 2 and double blue. Surveil sorcery. Surveil 3 if you have no cards in hand, and draw 3 cards. You can plot it for 4. This is a nice thing added. This card where you can plot for 4. So surveil for 3 and draw 3 for 4 mana. Okay, that's really good if you do that. Draw 3 for 4 mana is kind of good as well. It's pretty good as well. This is a good card. This is a good card. I'm on a C+. This is a good card. This is a pretty good card. And the blue card.
Yeah, we're back. We're back to like we're back to harmonize efficiency of card draw.
Yeah.
Good. This is good. I like the fact that you can plot this on turn 4 if you would have to discard otherwise, but honestly speaking, I'd rather be curving out, so maybe that's not even a huge deal. But it's nice. It is nice. It is nice to enable double spelling later, right? Even triple spelling. Triple spelling is actually like pretty reasonable with this because you're gonna draw extra gas and have like what 6-7 mana open at that stage in the game. And you can't sleep on surveilling 3. Surveilling 3, draw 3 is crazy. A significant power boost over drawing 3.
Yeah,
I like it. So C+. Let's see. Shackle Slinger. 2 and a blue for 3 mana for a creature, human soldier. It's a 3/2. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, choose target creature an opponent controls. If it's tapped, put a stun counter on it. Otherwise, tap it. Kind of a bummer that this doesn't do both when you commit crimes. Or sorry, when you cast your second spell each turn.
This feels like a
this
bad
card
common.
is. Yeah, this card is awkwardly statted. It trades off with kind of everything. I hate the idea of having to tap for 1 turn of 2/2 in order for this to even get in. It's it does read like a common. Yeah, it does sort of read like a common. Yeah. Second spell. Can you actually be? It buys you some. Okay, so the double spelling deck I don't think is super fast. But I also think it's valuable to buy time in that deck.
This is horrible.
And if this never tumbles in combat, it can buy you a little bit of time.
You gotta trade with this, man. You gotta trade with this thing.
And it does trade.
You just gotta
very
trade.
least. I think it's a D+. I think it's a D+. I actually don't think it's like unplayable.
I think this is horrible. I think it's just this is like you play to trade with it as the card. What is that? If it's not tapped, you just tap it. Stun card, like this is just casting 2 cards a turn. We get like an Izzet uncommon that gives itself a +1/+1 and draws a card and it's a flyer. Like sure it's Izzet, yeah. It's 2 colors. And then here we got a reward of you tap something. Or maybe put a stun counter on it if it's already tapped. So it's gonna be no. Man, what? Like, whoa, white uncommons are so good. I think this is a D-. I think this is horrible in any color, especially in blue. 2 tap stance isn't good enough. You do it once. Even when he misses the wrists, a pair of thunder cuffs to the head got the job done. No, it doesn't get the job done. It tickles. it tickles a little bit. You're not gonna be attacking with blue. Doesn't do anything. Doesn't get the job done.
Have you considered tapping your opponent's blocker and attacking for lethal?
Yeah, that's what the blue is gonna do. With the 1/4, that's now a 3/4 for that turn. So now it's gonna deal 3 damage.
I'm getting a really big feeling we're somehow hating on crimes too much. Okay, like for real, the one sentence boil down, crimes have got to be way easier to enable than we think. Why am I talking about crimes? This card doesn't care about crimes. It cares about second spells cast, but it commits crimes. Ugh, I don't know.
But blue doesn't have a single card that cares about committing crimes.
Yeah, it doesn't. Sure.
Like, it has the surveil thing. It has the surveil thing. So yeah, it does have the surveil thing.
You're reading Shifting Grift.
Shifting Grift for double blue. It has spree, +2 exchange control of 2 target creatures, +1 exchange control of 2 target artifacts, +1 exchange control of 2 target enchantments. So it's gonna be creatures, basically always, I think. So 4 mana, give the opponent your worst creature, take their best creature. I mean, you're playing blue, so you're gonna have way worse creatures than your opponent. So that's kind of good, right? You can get rid of your blue creatures and get non-blue creatures. What do you think about that, Scotty?
I mean, it's because blue cards are so bad. Yeah, so trade them off. We solved it.
That's why this card ties all the blue decks together. You gotta have a lot of these.
Just 4 Shifting Grifts and 5 frogs, and then all of a sudden your deck is good now.
Oh, it's okay. This is okay. This is fine. C.
Oh, that's generous. How much value are you placing on the last 2 moves?
Nothing.
Nothing. Okay. 4 mana, more difficult to cast Switcheroo. Oh, that's a lot of hoops. That's a lot of hoops. I'm giving this C-.
That's a lot of blue.
Now I'm giving this D+. Forget this card. I'm off it.
I'm okay with the C-. Yeah, give it C- for me.
We are reading.
You're the
Slickshot Lockpicker. Yeah, thank you. 2 and a blue, 3 mana for a creature, human rogue. It's a 2/3. When Slickshot Lockpicker enters the battlefield, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost, and it plots for 2 and a blue. This card is good. This card is really, really, really good. Plotting 3, very strong. I like things that plot for 3 and plot for 2 a lot.
Yeah.
The fact that this, even if you can't hard cast this, a lot of your if I'm flashing back the blue -4/-0 trick, you know, like that's totally fine. Like your 3-drop has cantripped for an additional mana and maybe enabled an attack.
Your 4
that's nice.
Drop then, like
your 4-drop.
But it's sorcery speed.
That's fine. Yeah, that's like okay. It's okay.
Oh, flashback until end of turn, so you can use
until end of turn, so you can threaten it in combat. Yes.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's like okay, right? It's okay. I think this card's fine. I think this is like a C+ for me. No, you know, I'm gonna go B-. I'll go B-. I'm pretty optimistic.
Yeah. B- as well, but it is a blue. This town ain't big enough. This is an infinite combo with the last card. Infinite combo. Right? Oh no,
why would it be
valid.
infinite?
It's actually flashback. Oh, it's flashback. Oh my god. But I mean, infinite combo, that would be horrible, right? That was a joke, but it doesn't even work because it's not an infinite combo. But it would be horrible if it was. 4 and a blue, instant speed. This spell costs 3 less to cast if it targets a permanent you control. And return up to 2 target non-land permanents to their owner's hands. So that is good. I like this quite a lot. The infinite combo part is horrible. How do you have infinite mana? Infinite combo in limited doesn't mean you can do it infinitely on your turn. It means you can... it is an infinite loop. Yeah. Draft infinite is different.
I like how we're just making up.
No, limited
definitions.
infinite is different. Infinite is combo is different than constructed limited combo, infinite combo. So
Did you? I think you just made that up.
no, it's like everybody talks like that. It's
Everyone talks like yeah. Okay.
I talk to a lot of different people. Look, I know people, man. And it's like
You
Neo,
know
for
people,
example.
man.
Oh, in Neo you get these infinite loops that costs a lot of mana and you don't have infinite mana, right? But you're doing it turn over turn, it's infinite value.
Oh, you're right. Sorry for questioning you. I didn't know that you knew people. But you know people.
Ask him. I know I talked to him. There have been others. That's good. This is good. Like 2 mana. This is an Elden Ring card for 2 mana, so you save something probably or whatever and get something non-land permanent and get rid of something else. Instant speed for bounce too. Can be a lot of tempo. That's pretty good. Yeah. I like this a lot. I'm on at least a C+. Scotty?
Yeah, this card is... Sorry, I thought you were still thinking about it. This card is very good. With the bailout mode of, honestly speaking, 5 mana bounce 2 things just being very strong. Although you already said that, I'm on a C+ as well. Visage Bandit, 3 and a blue for 4 mana for a creature shapeshifter rogue. It's a 2/2. You may have Visage Bandit enter the battlefield as a copy of a creature you control, except it's a shapeshifter rogue in addition to its other types. Plot 2 and a blue. When I first initially read this card without the context of the set, I didn't particularly like it because I don't actually love clones that only work on your stuff, right? There's a lot of issues with needing a creature on the battlefield first before you actually have your card do anything, and only being able to have the ceiling of copying your best card sometimes can be highly mediocre. However, plot 3 for a lot of synergies is actually quite good. Being able to plot 3 and be able to double spell enables a lot of pretty dang strong care routes for you. There's a lot of cards that we mentioned that, if only you could plot something on 3 or 2, this card would actually be like a really high ceiling, right? Like the Stitcher, Lone Shark to a lesser degree. To the point, I think this card is good. I think this card is actually quite good. So it's a C+ for me.
Yeah, the plot 3 is a big part of this. You got 2 cards that you want. Still blue, but it's big. It's big. Same like other effects that you might not want when you have the mana for them. Very similar to those, like to the Sheriff of the Passage, something like that. In white, you just plot it and then you get a really good turn at one point. If you gotta wait and then pay the mana, that means that it's not gonna be that great of a turn because you just missed some turns, kept this in your hand. So that's pretty big. I'm gonna like C+, even a B- maybe on this one. I'm actually on a B-, man. It's you played it for 3. If you just copy a 4-drop, that's really good. So yeah, B-. This is great for limited, and it can also just be a 4-mana 2/2. So that's it, man. Blue is horrible. I mean, I hope I'm wrong. The more we talked about blue commons and uncommons, the more I was like, wait, all the multicolor blue cards, if they are not splashable, I don't like them all of a sudden. Maybe blue as a support color or something, when you have a lot of cards in other color. I hope we are wrong, because there is like that -4, which I kind of like. Maybe the uncommon multicolors are gonna carry. Best bombing format is blue, green. That is really nice. That is actually really nice, because then I'm happy with that. I'm not on pre-release because Scotty is in Korea, so it's if I went to the pre-release, we would have the stream. We would start it when it's midnight for him again, so that would not be great. And it's fine for me to start earlier as well. I let the organizers know. They're like, okay, there's gonna be more pre-releases. This is more important. They know this is the most important set review in the world. But yeah, I think you just no, it's my decision. It's my decision. You kind of really wanted me to go to a pre-release, but then you would be like dead and fuck up your sleeping schedule even more. So next time I'm gonna go to pre-release. We're gonna do it earlier, so it's completely fine. And the set is up in what, a couple of days. I think the blue multicolor cards, you're kind of just splashing them. I think you're just splashing them. Okay, go to the next one.
Let's break that sentence down. It's a very extreme take to say that you're not going to play blue. Like, when was the last time we had such color imbalance? Like such a crazy level of color imbalance?
It's a lot of times you just kind of want to avoid the color. Black was on the menu a lot of times. Sometimes green. You just kind of slightly avoid the color. Yeah, green, white or something in Lord of the Rings. Come on, I don't know about the last time, but we've had it. MK and LCA, black was not that great, that's true. Blue doesn't seem
they were still playable colors. They're still definitely playable colors.
Blue doesn't seem unplayable, but it just seems pretty damn weak. So maybe you get a couple of the problem is like, even if you get a couple of uncommons in blue, it feels like there's so many good uncommons in white, and we're gonna see in the other colors as well soon, that, I don't know, even when you get them early, you're kind of expecting to get more good uncommons in other colors. Hopefully we're wrong. Like, I guess the blue set has some interesting cards, I guess. Just understated stuff. Weird. Wanna talk about it more, or wanna go to the Archmage's Newt?
Read Archmage's Newt.
For 1 and a blue, we get a 2/2. Already good for blue. It's a mount, and whenever this thing deals combat damage to a player, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. That card gains flashback 0 if this guy is settled. I mean, it's a 2 mana 2/2. How often is this is this dealing damage to face?
Not that often. You have to push it through somehow on its own, or with something of additional assistance.
I think this is just like a D. I think this is a bear, and it's not much better than a 2 mana 2/2. I think it's a D.
I'll go D plus.
You're a big believer in 2/2 for 2 getting in.
Yep. I mean, the newt, the salamander. Yep. I'm in for slinking lizards. Or frog? Was it a frog?
I mean, actually, give it a B plus from me as well, I guess. I mean, they gotta keep the mana, the blockers up a lot of times, I guess. Even a C minus. I can give this a C minus, right? They're gonna have to. You're gonna be playing other colors, better colors, and then you're gonna have removal, and then they're gonna be keeping up 2 things all the time, because you settle and use removal attack, and then flashback that. C minus.
Remove 2 things. Yeah, that's pretty good, right?
Oh. This is
a problem. Saddle 3 is not nothing, but
yeah,
it's a fine bear. Double down, 3 and a blue for an enchantment. Whenever you cast an outlaw spell, copy that spell. Very simple. 4 mana, and then you start doubling. So when you copy a creature spell, it creates 2 instances of under the stack, and then they both enter the battlefield, right? I believe that the copy is a permanent, right? A copy is a permanent, souls become tokens, yeah. So you fall behind pretty badly the turn 4 you cast this, right? You're spending 4 mana to actually do nothing, and you're relying on your outlaws being doubled in order to catch you back up. How easy is that? I think that's pretty easy, and I do think it's worth it. I think that we like the last time, it reminiscent of Necroduality, right? Which ended up being okay, in my opinion. I think this is much better than that. Because I think this is way easier to actually catch yourself back up.
Because
and the creature sizing. No, I mean, not just because of plotting, just because I think there's way more outlaws.
Oh, but plotting is like the biggest deal as well.
Yeah, plotting, you can, like, the fact that you can actually double on the turn you play this is pretty dang good.
That's huge.
That is freaking huge. I actually think this is very good. This is a B plus for me.
Yeah. Like the plotting is crazy. B plus, yeah, I'm gonna B plus. Usually these cards are kind of whatever. There is a lot of these outlaws and plot. Plot is so huge. Plot is so huge. If you have this in your hand, you play this on 4, and you right away get 2 things. So you're good. And then it just keeps going. Man, this is incredible. All right. Blue mythic is nice.
We finally got there at Mythic Rare.
There we go. We're getting there. Duelist of the Mind. For 1 and a blue, it's a star and 3. Flying Vigilance. It has power equal to the number of cards you've drawn this turn. Oh, this turn? Whenever you commit a crime, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This ability triggers once each turn. Oh, that's really good. So 1/3, maybe 2/3, maybe more. On your turn, on their turn, it's a 0/3, but Flying Vigilance, so it can block things. Every crime lets you loot. I mean, this is really good. This is really good. I'm on a B at least. B for this one. I love this 2-drop. At least a B.
I'm going B plus.
Yeah, I'm going to B plus as well. Man,
I'm going B plus. It's just a 2-drop. You know, it's a 2-drop, and it does a lot of things for just simply 2 mana.
Every desert loots as well. Yeah, B.
Are you gonna B plus as well, or you B?
B plus seems fine. That's really good.
Real good. Fibblethip, Lost in the Range. 1 blue for a legendary creature, Homunculus. It's a 1/1 with Ward 2. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. The top card of your library has plot. The plot cost is equal to its mana cost, and you may plot non-land cards from the top of your library. Okay, so you actually, ooh, this is actually, there's 3 mana, and then you get to start freaking what is it called? Case of the Locked Hot Housing with plot on the top of your library. So you play this in turn 3, you're going to fall pretty far behind. It's pretty difficult to kill this, but this is not tussling in combat whatsoever. I'm not particularly afraid of this dying to removal spells, because if that's the case, your opponent has to invest a pretty probably mana negative on this, probably, which is nice. And then you just start generating card advantage immediately, and it's not so there's like a 2-turn opening where you're pretty vulnerable. The turn you play this, and your 1/1 doesn't block anything, and the turn afterwards where you want to start plotting from the top of your library. Those are 2 pretty vulnerable spots for you.
It blocks the 2
after that,
frog.
It blocks 2. Yes.
D plus.
But after that, you don't actually have any more. It's not like you generate additional windows of vulnerability, because then you can just start casting those plot cards, right? And of course, if you hit a land drop, you can just cast cards from your hand.
A little bit slow to get going.
Yeah, a little bit slow to get going, but for only 3 mana, not the worst investment. I like this a lot. I think this is also a B plus.
You know, I'm gonna give it the last card, even though it's the duelist. I'm gonna give it a B, just a B. It's once per turn. It's not great on defense. It's not gonna like destroy your opponent. It is free looting. That is really nice, but I don't think it's like worth. It's not hugely overstated or anything, and it's not you get like 2 for 1s and shit. So only B for the Duelist of the Mind, which is still amazing. This one, you gave it a B plus.
I give you B plus.
I'm gonna B, just because it's. I mean, 3 mana is real nice. 3 mana is really nice. The plotting is a big deal. It is a big deal because you play it. That's kind of weak, and then you're not gonna have things right away. You're gonna have to wait some turns. So I'm just gonna be. B or B minus, because it is slow to get going for this card advantage. I'm gonna start it as a B minus. I don't think it's a B really. I start it as B minus, and you cannot.
I think the fact that it's a 3 mana doesn't mean. Oops, sorry.
What?
I think the fact that it's a 3 mana means it's not actually that slow, right?
Yeah, 3 mana is really. We almost never get these effects for 3 mana, but still.
That's so cheap.
Alright, we got Geralf the Fleshright. I can see it going down from B minus. Geralf the Fleshright. For 2 and a blue, it's a 2/3. Human Warlock, so it's a mercenary. Whenever you cast a spell during your turn, other than your first spell that turn, create a 2/2 zombie. Rogue. Oh, rogue. Whenever a zombie enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on it for each other zombie that entered the battlefield under your control this turn. Oh! 3 mana, 2/3. If you do it once, it's incredible. You're getting 2/2s sometimes. Are there more zombies? Uncommon.
I think so. The mill zombie's a zombie, I think. The blue stitchers.
So uncommon, there is only there are no zombies uncommon. There is like a 4-drop.
Oh, it's a vampire. Whoops.
There is a 4-drop. So no zombies on common. Nothing creates a zombie on common. Okay, so this is not happening. So nothing zombie. On the common level. So still, you're just dishing out 2/2s. I don't think this is a bomb. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Playing 3 spells per turn. Maybe if you plot a lot of things, like you can do that. Then make a 2/2 and a 3/3. If you can get that maybe you're gonna try to do that. But then they kill the Giralf and you just messed up your turns. Yeah, triple spell is like a 2/2 and a 3/3. That is really nice. Very hard to triple spell on any turn in limited. It's good. It's good. I'm on a B for this one. B minus. No,
Okay.
B minus.
I guess I'm pretty
B minus.
B minus. I'm pretty consistently higher on these. I'm not I think the set is designed where you can double spell a little bit more often. Yeah. You know, it's like literally an entire archetype, right? Of hopefully things that you can like cheaply cantrip or plot with. So I'm actually on a B plus.
Okay.
Reasonably speaking, I think Plan the Heist, the uncommon, is really easy way to actually triple spell, but not like you can assemble A plus B that often. I just think that this is totally fine on its own. Yeah.
Yeah, that is really nice.
Yeah. It's a B plus for me. Key to the Vault. The Key to the Vault, forgive me. 1 in blue with 2 mana total for a legendary artifact equipment. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, look at that many cards from the top of your library. You may exile a non-land card from among them, put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exiled card without paying its mana cost, and you can equip 2 in a blue, 3 mana total. So, for 5 mana, and your card has to connect, you can then have the privilege of drawing and casting a card, which is strong.
Which is very strong.
It's strong. It's a strong effect. Am I willing to pay 5 mana for that? No. That's extremely expensive. I feel like if we're doing this, we can obviously snowball a victory, but that's so conditional. It does nothing when you're behind, right? And it's just when you're ahead and already bashing in for that, you know, you're already in a great spot. I think this is an actual F.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on a D minus. You put it on a flyer, it can easily win you the game, I think. The problem is when opponent has removal, you're kind of fucked. And when you don't have a flyer. This is huge, you just play the card.
It's a very powerful effect.
It's a very powerful effect. I'm gonna be a D. I'm gonna be believer. I'm gonna start it as a D. I think you can have enough flyers for this to win you the game. Even if they kill that, it's horrible, but then maybe you put it on another flyer, because this is a very powerful effect. Just that the flyers are usually a bit smaller. Step between worlds for 3 and double blue, or plot for 4 and double blue. Each player may shuffle their hand and graveyard into their library. Each player who does draws 7 cards, exile this thing. For no. F?
F.
F. Very symmetrical effect. And may. So yeah, just don't play these guys. I mean, or play it when I'm streaming.
Stoic Sphinx, 2 blue for a creature Sphinx. It's a 5/3 with flash and flying. Stoic Sphinx has hexproof as long as you haven't cast a spell this turn. So it very often has hexproof on your opponent's main phases. In fact, always, I think, pretty much always.
Yeah.
Unless you actually have to cast something in combat, which is super duper strong. Super duper strong. The only downside to this is it, quote unquote, doesn't block well, right? Because it's 3 toughness. But I don't know what else I'm asking for, because like you don't need to block. You just turn this card sideways and kill your opponent, because it kills your opponent in 4 turns.
Equip it with that last card.
Oh yeah. Let's go. So you can play this on 4 and then cast your key to the vault and equip it on turn 5, and then your opponent kills it because you cast the spell. All right, we did it.
You cast this on the end of their turn, so they don't kill it probably.
I mean, they can kill it on your turn after you cast Key to the Vault. Whatever.
But you cast it on the end of their
this is
turn.
Extremely good.
Look, man, they can kill it on the end of their turn as well if they can kill it on your turn.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. You're absolutely. So like the rules nuances. The turn that it comes into play, you can kill it because you've definitively have cast a spell that turn.
But it's flesh.
Yeah, but it has flash, so it's super. This card is super good. I really like it. I think it's a B+. Well, I think it might be even better than that. Because I do think that this card is the better than most of the cards we've seen. I'll give it a B+.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a B+. This ends the game very fast, very fast. Actually, I'm gonna give it a B because they can have a flyer or reach. There is enough reach in flying this set. Just a B. Yeah, it ends the game fast, but also can be blocked. B. It's nice. 3 steps ahead for a blue. It's an instant with spree. +1 and a blue. You counter target spell. That's 3 mana. +3. Create a token that's a copy of target artifact or creature that you control. That would be 4. +2. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. That would be 3. Okay. This is the Epiphany without steroids. Just a netty Epiphany. So for 3 mana it's a counter spell. Alright, for 6 mana it's a counter spell that makes a copy of biggest thing that you have. That's pretty good. For 5 mana it's a counter spell that draws you 2 cards and then you discard a card. For 6 mana you can just copy something and draw 2 cards and discard a card. You can also just pay 4 to copy something that you have. Oh, that's pretty good, man. This is pretty good. Or just 3 mana counterspell. Man, this is good modality. This is really good modality. Not a bomb, I think. I think it's a B plus still.
Yeah, I'm into B+ as well. This card has a heckin' lot of modes to the point you're just never unhappy with it. Obviously, like other B pluses, when you cast them for full amount, they're going to feel more impactful, but this has a lot of flexibility.
Instant speed, man.
Yeah.
I mean, counterspell, obviously, but
yeah. What's the so moving on, we're both on B+. What's the deal with Jace? Why? So I need chat to help me, or maybe Lola. What's the deal with? Why is Jace separated from the rest of the cards?
Yeah.
Like, do you not find this in draft packs?
You mean
is it not a normal card?
Yeah. Why is it? You mean why is it a 271?
Yeah. Why is it not with the other cards?
But he is in a normal booster, right?
Yeah, but it's not. So it was meant to be?
He was meant to be?
And then it's not anymore?
That's
so
weird.
Now it's a normal mythic?
Because he is just he's a normal part of blue rares and mythics. Nothing else.
Wow, that's wild. So like it's here by mistake.
Oh, that's interesting.
That's weird.
Wait, how did they do that? Like they printed the cards first before putting them in the packs?
Well, I mean, it is a mistake because Big is still here.
That's definitely a mistake, yeah.
That's weird.
Okay. They design it in year in advance. Yeah, but I mean, design like the number of the card and stuff? That is weird. Okay, you can read it.
Jace Reawaken, blue. Canceling something sounds like a mistake to me, but Jace Awaken is a blue. Legendary Planeswalker Jace is a 3 loyalty. You can't cast a spell during your first, second, or third turns of the game. +1 to draw a card, then discard a card. +1, you may exile a non-land card with mana value 3 or less from your hand. If you do, it becomes plotted. -6 until end of turn. Whenever you cast a spell, copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. You can only cast this on
turn 4.
Turn your first, second, or third. So on turn 4.
Man, it's
on turn 4 for blue. I for some reason I was counting.
What? 1, 2, 3? 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Whoa!
And it's not that simple. It's true.
Hey, Korea's allergic to the number 4. Okay, I'm not used to seeing the number 4.
Or to counting.
Yeah, to counting. Yeah, counting's difficult. But
you can talk about a card.
It doesn't protect itself, but
did you read all the
play,
pluses and minuses?
I did read all the pluses.
I didn't hear
and
the last
minuses.
one. Sorry.
That's okay. So, the -6 ability needs to come with a couple sizable creatures for it to be throwing away your Planeswalker. This is pretty cheap to get on the battlefield, and you do generate some amount of advantage. You can also generate some amount of mono advantage, right? Like you either want to filter your cards to get out excess lands, etc., or you want to just like power out your hand. It's okay. I don't think this is unplayable. I think this is like an okay Planeswalker, especially for the fact that on the turn you play, you can hopefully double spell with it. Yeah, it's 2 mana.
2 mana.
I really like the idea of double spelling with it. I think this is fine. I think this is like a B- for me.
Yeah, I'm fine with I'm fine with a B. I mean, it's 2 mana, man. That's like turn 4, sure. Then it puts your things on the board that cost 3 or less. That's really good. Like, and then you just get rid of the things that you don't want to play. -6 is really good. It's 2 mana. Like, what do you expect? 2 mana and then loot. Even if you just loot a billion times, and you're gonna be plussing to. You're gonna be ramping a little bit with it, right? Why don't you just play the card instead of this? Because it's like +1 to loot. It's -6 to copy something. Or much more. It's so, like, it's 2 mana. It's such a low investment. 4 loyalty as well.
Being able to put something...
Huh?
Well, I mean, like, having a Planeswalker that's generating incremental advantage on the battlefield is pretty strong. Like, also incentivizing your opponents to potentially make a little bit less valuable attacks into it. It's not bad.
No, it's not like you paid 4 or 5 for it, and then it's like, sure,
Yeah.
I'm plotting something. Yeah, I'm gonna B- as well. I like the card. Maybe even higher. But B-
I'm down for just a loot stick if you protect it.
Oh man, blue sucks. There's like blue doesn't feel unplayable. Feels not good. That's the professional analysis. It feels not good, which is bad.
There's no A's in blue that we gave.
There's no bombs? Oh, there's no bombs?
No.
The commons are
zero,
like these, the uncommons are like B- is the highest one or something. Okay, we got
rough life.
Alright, let's
Hopefully
go with black. And one of my favorite cards of all time returns. The Leech.